take, for example, another argument that Benny Morris and other people will appeal to, which is that this is not genocide because the Israeli military is letting the Palestinian people know with dropped pamphlets, with this policy known as, I think, knocking at the door, that civilians on the rooftop, people should leave and get out of these areas that they're about to bomb. So on the one hand, you have some historians that will cite sources, maybe from the Israeli military, that these policies are being enacted. Then on the other hand, you have historians citing humanitarian organizations, for instance, saying that this is not occurring. And what is occurring, and how is the layperson supposed to deal with this?
Benny Morris has a level of competence in certain areas. We all do, let's be honest about that. Professor Chomsky had a terrifying range and also significant depth for a large number. For some areas, he created the fields, but for other areas, a large number, he had significant depth. So I'm not going to fault Professor Morris for having a relatively narrow area of expertise, which is to say depth. But to say the statements he makes are just completely silly. And actually, it surprised me when I debated him. I was expecting a much higher level of repartee, riposte, give and take. I was surprised that he didn't seem, in my opinion, to put up much of a, if we can use the expression, he didn't seem to put up much of a fight. So let's go to the statement you just made. There have been literally, I can cite to you now because I have it here, dozens of statements from every UN official at the very top, meaning Secretary General Guterres, down to the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, down to, and you go down and down and down and down and down and down and down until you get to the grassroots people who are there every minute of every day. And the one, not the one, but a common theme is of every official, there's no safe place in Gaza. Mm-hmm. Let me repeat that. There is no safe place in Gaza. So let's just take the most salient aspects. Number one, a large number of people haven't a clue about evacuation orders because they're given over things like cell phones, and there are no cell phones operative in Gaza. Number two, a large number of people are in hospitals. A large number of people are disabled. They're not able to leave the quote-unquote war zone. Number three, when they attempt to flee, they're shot at. Number four, when they get to the quote-unquote safe areas, the safe areas are bombed with 2,000-pound bombs. All of this is exhaustively documented. People don't know where to go. These complex grids that Israel has created, if they attempt to, some of them, a large number of them can't go, they're in hospitals. When they attempt to go, they're targeted and shot at. And when they get to the place that they're told to go, they're bombed. So, in that context, to talk about this can't be a genocide because Israel is providing humanitarian corridors is completely and totally preposterous. And it's regrettable. It's to his own eternal shame that Professor Morris has become so jaded, so cynical that he would repeat these egregious falsehoods. Why do I call them falsehoods? Because if what he were saying is true, then you would have to believe that every senior UN official, from Gutierrez to Martin Griffiths to Philippe Lazzarini, every senior UN official from the top to the bottom, across the board from left to right, and every humanitarian organization, the Red Cross, Doctors Without Borders, Save the Children, UNESCO, UNICEF, every single humanitarian organization is conspiring in a monumental hoax. That's what is the inexorable consequence if you believe that Israel is attempting to save civilian life and preserve, the international law protection of civilians. If you believe that, then you must believe, it's an inexorable consequence of that belief that there is this huge conspiracy of every UN agency, every UN official, and every respected international humanitarian organization that there's no safe place in Gaza. Every single organization said that. Every UN official said that. So they're all lying. There's a conspiracy. There's a monumental hoax being perpetrated by the international community. Now, I'm asking you a simple question. You're not just a questioner, you're an interlocutor. We go back and forth. Is that plausible?
No.
Is it plausible that everybody's lying when they keep saying there's no safe place in Gaza? Is that plausible?
It's very not plausible, especially...
But then Benny Morris is lying. Then he's lying, or he's jaded, and he's a cynic, and he doesn't really care. That, by the way, I don't know if you want to get involved in my personal impressions of him. What struck me most in meeting him, and it was the first time I met him, he didn't seem to care. There was no energy, no passion, no emotional investment in his statements. He was so carefree, so blasé. It really struck me. I mean, we are in the midst of a plausible genocide, and it's your country that's perpetrating it. And it was not like as if he were indignant. For him, it was just banter. That was very surprising to me. It was just banter for him.